You want to buy a fridge, mate? Got this lovely fridge. Real bargain.
I bumped into a geezer on the street while chatting on me dog and bone. He knocked me right off the plates of meat and I went down on the stone. This bruiser picked me up and said you'd better come with me. I know the very place to get a lovely rosy lee. If you want London culture, well you just found it up. It's proper English heritage, a dog track in a pub. We've even got an Iceland in case you're feeling hot. So come on down to Catford, because Catford's got the lot.
Oi! Swipe left for Catford. This is Catford, southeast London. London, the ancient metropolis at the heart of England. This is Francois. He made a game called Reigns. Now this is slightly unusual because normally we do these kind of videos before the game comes out, right?
Yeah.
But this time your game's out. Did kind of okay.
Kind of okay.
Kind of okay. So we thought we'd make a film about it because it's quite an interesting story. First of all, he's going to show us around.
Yeah, please come in.
So I'm guessing this belongs to perhaps a new member of the family?
Yeah, Frederick.
Frederick. And what's the story with Frederick? How long has he been in the world?
A month now. Like he's born like a week after the release of the game, really. So it was a bit of a stressful time. Yeah.
So you brought the game out, and a week later your first son was born.
Yeah.
That's pretty well organised.
Yeah.
Was it planned?
No. So Tama is a game cat, if you want. So she was owned by another game designer, Anna Nicklin, who's living in London, and she's been named by the creator of Katamari Damacy. So that's a bit like
So the cat has a video game pedigree, basically.
Exactly, that's what. So she's helping a lot with the game.
Yeah. Assistant game designer.
Exactly.
So you're a Frenchman in London.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing
I do cooking.
Food is important for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is why this is the principal room in the house,
exactly,
or the most important room in the house.
Yeah.
This is where
it's bigger than the place where I make games.
This is a spectacular poster.
So that's one of my previous games called Magic Shot. I did with Arno, a friend of mine. It's a procedurally generated billiard game. And this is the main room, right?
So this is where, you know, when Graham from Devolver
Yeah.
is at a loose end, he just comes and sits here,
Yeah.
waits for the cat to leap on top of him.
Yeah, it's very, very.
Oh, look what he's doing. He's going for the ultimate reign. 14 years. Not very good.
Not very good.
You're not going to impress the leaderboards with that score.
So that's where I spend most of my time working on games and stuff. Yeah.
This is quite new, this place for you, right?
Yeah.
So
last year.
You didn't make all of Reigns here.
I'm doing a lot of co-working also.
Right.
So essentially, Reigns has been done here because we've been here for years. Let's stop messing around.
He's good, isn't he? This one's a keeper. Swipe right for the Constitutional Club. Look at this weather. Look at this weather. This is London. London is giving us great weather. This never happens. It's good, right?
Yeah,
You're happy?
It's very
We're
rare.
happy.
It's nice.
The Catford Constitutional Club, a local institution where they serve mead apparently, so we're going to go and have a look and see what we can find in medieval England here in Catford. was your first thing that you did?
A game called Singular.
Singular.
So Singular made 200 players. Then I did Magic Shots with my friend Arnaud. So this one had 2,000 players. And then I did Differing Stars, which had 20,000 players. And then I did a small game, free game called Passengers.
When did you start working on Reigns then?
Started prototyping last year with the artist Mieko. We sort of made a real prototype in December.
So that's eight
8
months.
months, yeah. So the whole project really was like nine months.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
What's that?
How did you find the other people that you were working with?
I found the artist in London. We met at different indie things.
This is Mieko.
Mieko, yeah.
Who's now
Mieko.
back in Japan.
Yeah, she's back in Japan.
You've got this interesting mix of really lo-fi, like old school computer text with this quite modern flat design style. Where did that come from?
She took like a diamond, you know, with facets and stuff, and she made the shape evolved in the different characters.
So tell me about the music then, because it's quite an interesting system for the music.
Yeah, so Disaster Piece worked with a friend who's more like a classical musician, and Matteo Lugo. And they designed this system that recreates the music like medieval music. So it's called the planchant. So you got 4 voice, soprano, alto, bass, and tenor. So the music will evolve and get more complicated and more structured, but whilst being different every time.
Swipe right from Borough Market.
You come down to Southwark in southeast London again. This is Borough Market, which is a medieval market, right?
Yeah, 1,000 years.
Yeah, 1,000 years old, this place. So this is clearly an important inspiration for Reigns, but maybe not in the way we expect. Why do you come here?
For cheese, generally.
Cheese. It's all about the cheese. So we're going to go and do some stealth cheese buying because we're not really allowed to film in here. So Robbie's going to be our sentry. And if things go wrong, he's going to help us make a swift getaway. So let's go and buy some cheese. What do you want?
Camembert.
Camembert.
Yeah.
So tonight, monsieur, next week, this weekend.
This weekend, yeah.
Something for the weekend?
Yeah,
sir.
This is a famous cheese called Petit Basket. Basically.
Yeah, all right. Narrative games, it's not so much about putting a lot of text, you know, like in a book, but more about bringing just the 2 sentences that make people react and want to know more or imagine what's happening. You start to play, and then you understand that your decisions have consequences beyond the four things on the stop. They have consequences over centuries.
So there's these subtle machinations going on in the background, and not all of which are immediately obvious, but you feel their effect later. Swipe left for the globe. On our Reigns-inspired medieval tour of London, we have come to Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Now, you're a student of literature.
Yeah.
Shakespeare's big for you.
Yeah, it was always a big thing when I studied. Yeah.
Big inspiration for the Reigns narrative.
Yeah. You sort of find the same sort of terrible dramatic
It's all about
outcomes.
the twists and turns and the stabs of the dagger.
Exactly.
Medieval saw music. We go along. Where are we going? Lincoln's Inn Field, please. You can't do London properly without a journey in a cab, right? Yeah. So, what I wanted to get you to give us your point of view on Robbie, as I think it's fair to say a reformed Tinder user.
Reformed is
Reformed Tinder user. Yeah. So.
I'm an enthusiast.
Tinder enthusiast.
Tinder enthusiast.
What's your take on Francois' medieval king-based Tinder?
Well, I'm quite interested to know where the inspiration came from outside of just the mechanic itself. I mean, you're obviously, you're a happily married man.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that you. I mean, did you do any extracurricular research by starting up a little Tinder account?
We did some gameplay research.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, very important.
And did your wife take part as well?
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, we did.
And did you find any positive connections?
Yeah, for testing purposes. Yeah.
It happens.
It happens. Yeah.
Testing purposes. I've heard you use that expression.
Yeah, well, it's all research. At the end of the day.
research.
That
It's all
was
research.
interesting.
Was there anything about kind of the way that people connect and interact on Tinder that influenced the game design in any way?
Oh yeah. The thing that they actually don't look outside, but just the photo, So
Yeah.
they just check the photos, not the information after. So that was a very good inspiration for the game because we just kept that mechanic.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
So when it came down to the art choices in that respect, then was it quite important to make sure that players were being influenced by kind of the images that they were seeing as well as the text?
Yes, exactly. It's like
Because nobody reads the text,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's not really on Tinder.
yeah, exactly. No one reads the text. Just look at the photos.
The Tinder narrative is that you could find a positive connection and then find romance. You could find your king or
Yeah.
your queen. But that doesn't really happen in Reigns.
No, you die in the end.
You always die.
Have you ever died on Tinder, Robbie?
I haven't died. I mean,
Oh, you haven't got
depends
to the
on
end yet, though.
depends-
Yeah.
Exactly.
Romance dies, you know?
Yeah. Depends on your definition of death.
Yeah.
Why did you go down the medieval route?
Because the king, the figure of a king, is a very representative of having a big power, like power of life and death.
The context in which you were making this game was pre-Brexit
Yeah.
Britain.
The idea that you're asking the question, is it good to go out of Europe as a yes or no, is just hiding like the forest of impacts and consequences it has on millions of people.
Oh, we're drinking in the medieval flavour of the place. Or actually we're
No, it smells.
drinking in the aroma of the cheese. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a notebook with you
Yeah,
earlier,
sure.
which showed some of the way you work things out
Yeah.
in the game.
Yeah, so it's everything. It's like to-do lists. So that's like the to-do list for the beta game, the beta version of the game.
Yeah.
And I got all the stuff I have to do. And then after that, you got some.
That looks very mathematical.
Yeah, it's.
Is that probabilities then?
Yes,
Is that
I'm working
probabilities?
on the. I was checking a couple of things.
Could you help me discover my probability of finding someone on Tinder?
How did you end up in bed with Devolver? What happened?
That was also very weird. No,
So it always seems to be consistently weird
Yeah.
getting into bed with
Yeah.
Devolver. I don't know.
I sent them a mail.
You sent them just unsolicited, out of the blue email.
out of the blue mail saying.
Who did you send it to? Did you send it to Fort Parker?
Yeah, Fort Parker. Nigel answered saying, yeah, let's try that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Nigel took the bait,
Yeah, I took the bait,
sent you a
which
reply.
was sort of.
Were you expecting?
I think that was a good game for Devolver.
It doesn't resemble anything Devolver.
Yeah, but
Have done.
does Hotline Miami look like at a full boyfriend, for example?
Exactly.
Swipe right for loading bar.
This is the loading bar in Dalston, in London. And this is interesting because our man Francois actually used to work here, right?
Yeah.
No, kind of. Not. You didn't work in the bar, but this is where you came to work.
Yeah, I came for co-working and I spent a year, I think, co-working here.
Was that before you were working on Reigns? Or?
Yeah, before. Yeah.
Okay, so this is old school for you. This is Arno. Who's Arno?
Arno is a friend I met in London. With an ED like me. He's gonna help work on Reigns 2, the next.
Whoa, Reigns 2.
Yeah.
What's happening with Reigns 2?
I've talked with Mieko and she's going back to Japan and she asked me if I can continue her work. So for me it was like a very hard challenge because his style is so stylish.
I got almost 700,000 players right now of Reigns. That's that's beyond, for me, it's not even about the money, it's about 700,000 people playing your game. It's like,
So do you think this is it now? Are you a full-time game developer? Is this what you want to do?
yes, we're doing more Reigns, but we're doing it differently this time. So I'll tell you more.
What's different?
We're focusing more on the Queen side of things.
So Francois' research for Reigns 2 would not be complete without a visit to see the Queen.
Yeah.
So we're in Green Park and we're going to walk down to Buckingham Palace and see if she's at home.
She must be.
She must be. She must be. Let's follow the crowd. We're basking in the glory of our nation's great queen in front of Buckingham Palace. Clearly an important inspiration for Reigns.
Yeah, yeah.
A Frenchman comes to the UK to find his royal family and make his successful game.
Yeah, turn them into cards.
It's a medieval fairy tale.
Yeah.
One of the things about the game that I think is really fun, you mentioned this, is that only 5% of what happens to you in the game is the game taking you, right?
Yeah. Only 5% of the cards are actually designed to be played in a certain way. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, unlocked in a certain way.
So the rest of it is just a roll of the dice.
A
really.
bit, yeah.
He's a really bad trumpet player.
Yeah.
Really bad. Reigns has been a success. Have you treated yourself to anything nice?
I got a lot of people, you know, when I tell them I signed with Devolver and everything.
Yeah.
So do you feel like a rock star, you know? I'm like, well, I would like the booze and the hookers, but I just got nappies and
Nappies and baby talc.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I'm a bit frustrated, you know.
It's like anti-rock and roll Devolver signing. No, I'm all about the nappies.
Yeah, exactly.
You're wiping your baby's fresh bottom with
With
$100 bills.
$100 bills. Yeah, exactly.
This is it. This is the dream. This is why I was brought to this earth. Well, at least it's not raining.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah. The Queen's the only one reigning today.
Yeah.
Get it?
Raining. Rain.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a
good
clever,
one.
it's a very clever joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.